Boom! What is up, scale hackers? I am back in action with another valuable video here. This one's gonna be killer. In this one, I want to quickly dive into the difference between basically being a freelancer, a glorified freelancer, and being an actual successful business owner, right? Especially in your agency. So this is gonna be a really killer one. I'm just gonna talk about the structure of these two different ways of doing things and why your goals must align with the model that you choose, right? So let's dive straight into it. So I got my whiteboard here, a trusty good old whiteboard in dodgy setup. You can see like half the wall is cut off here. dodgy setup, but we're making it happen, all right? So let's dive straight in. So the two kind of things I want to talk about is the difference between obviously successful business owner, right? And then on this side, we're going to talk about being glorified freelancer. Now, when I say this, I'm not hating on freelancers at all, because freelancers provide an essential service, right, to a lot of us, even in the agency space. But I just don't want you guys to fall into the trap of this if this isn't your goals, right? And I'm going to speak about what each of these things means in a little bit more depth, so that you can make sure that you make the right choices in your business to not go down the path you don't want to, right? Because for a lot of us, I know you're going to want to sit in the successful business owner category. That's the kind of the way you want to do things, right? But some of you might want to go down the freelancer path, and that's totally fine. But I just want to kind of give you the kind of relevance here to look at both next to each other and see the stats of how each works, right? So let's dive straight in. I've got some notes written down here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, looking at these notes, because I planned this, right? Always plan your shit. So all right, let's dive straight in. So I'm gonna start on this side with the glorified freelancer. Actually, you know what? We'll go one by one. So let's start with the glorified freelancer. So basically, we're going to talk about it in sense of running an agency, right? That's how we're going to talk about this in the sense of, so this isn't like for everything. Like, I'm not really talking generalized with this. This is specific to running an agency, right? So if you get confused at any point, just remember that this is specific to agency. So keep that at the top of your mind as you read through all of this information. So if you're a glorified freelancer, what does that mean, right? Well, that basically means that you're doing things yourself, right? That's what a freelancer does. A freelancer works for themselves. They're self-employed, right? And now self-employed and running a business are two totally separate things, right? Two totally different things. So the first thing I want to put on here is this is do-it-yourself. So it's DIY. And what this means is you're basically going to save money, because you don't have many expenses when you do things yourself, right? But, on the business owner side of things, right? When you're a successful business owner, you're actually automating things, right? Automate, I'll put and delegate, right? Because that's what a successful business owner does, right? They don't do everything themselves, right? They're not afraid to invest money into their business to automate things, to delegate things, so that they can scale faster, right? That's what a successful business owner does. And again, I'm talking about this in terms of an agency, so this isn't for everything, this is for an agency, right? Automation and delegation is really important. So this is about 90% of the process, right? So 90% of this is basically going to be automated, right? Do it yourself, save money on the glorified freelancer side of things. So you're trying to do everything yourself, right? You're fulfilling your prospecting for clients, you're doing your sales calls, you're closing clients, and then you're fulfilling for that client, you're doing all the work, the client communication, doing all the delivery of results, the reporting, all of this stuff, right, is done by you. Because again, you're doing it yourself, you save money, sure, but you're wasting so much of your time, right? And you can't really scale with that, right? That's not a scalable model, because again, how big you scale is reliant on your time. So we're going to speak about that in a sec. I've got some cool graphs I'll draw to demonstrate that. But this is the main difference, right? So a successful business owner invests into their business. They automate and delegate 90% of their operations, or start with 10%, then move to 20%. You know what I mean, right? You start almost doing everything yourself, and then you start to automate and delegate that's part of the process, right? The next thing I want to bring up is this: a successful business owner systemizes things. So they have a systemized approach to their business, right? They think about their business in terms of systems. Like, okay, what is the process from prospecting to sales, from sales to fulfillment, from fulfillment to retention? What does that process look like, right? And they systemize this. They turn it into a system. And this is when it becomes easy to automate and delegate, because you have a system in place. So when you delegate it to someone, a virtual assistant or another team member, right? They are able to follow your system and get the same result that you would get if you did it yourself, right? And this is something that glorified freelancers don't really do, because again, they're trying to do everything themselves to save money instead of make more money, right? So what they do is they basically bootstrap, what it's called bootstrapping, right? And this is basically like throwing things together, hoping for the best kind of thing, right? Bootstrapping the process. And basically when you bootstrap the process, you're like trying to tie things together that are from all over the place, right? And especially for the agency people, like this is a big one when it comes to going through various different courses, right? You're trying to bootstrap on fucking cold emails, trying to bootstrap on LinkedIn, trying to bootstrap on Facebook ads, trying to bootstrap on everything, right? And there's all these things that you're trying to do yourself, and you can never get good at one thing because, for one, you haven't systemized it, and for two, you're trying to do everything yourself, so you don't have the time to invest into it because you're too busy fulfilling for clients or prospecting or doing things in your business that isn't going to move the needle as much, right? So then the next thing I want to bring up here is basically when you do this, right, you become removed from the process, right? For a successful business owner, when you automate and delegate, you systemize, you become removed from the process, right? Because again, you can delegate the systems out, you can automate the systems because you've systemized your approach to how you look at things, right? So it's not a matter of, oh damn, where can I save money, and how can I move here and there and do this myself, right? And how can I learn how to do this myself, right? But instead, you're systemizing that, get really good at one piece of the puzzle, systemize it, and then automate or delegate it, right? And you're doing that for each piece of the puzzle, right? For agencies, there's the four pillars, right? You've got prospecting, you've got sales, you've got fulfillment, you've got retention, right? And then you've got scaling, right, as the fifth one. So you've got 5 pillars there. And each of these pillars, you're systemizing, right? You're getting really good at, you're systemizing it, and then you're automating and delegating it, right? And that's what I mean. Like, you do that for each of the pillars, each of those 5 pillars, and 90% of your operations are automated. So you're actually removed from the process, which means you actually have freedom, which a lot of people start their agencies for, right? That's your end goal, to have the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom, right? That's what this allows you to do when you systemize, automate, and delegate. You remove yourself from the process to have that time, right? And then obviously on this side, you actually create a self-employed job for yourself. Man, my writing is so messy here. Yeah, but you basically create a self-employed job for yourself instead here. Because again, you're trying to do everything yourself. You're bootstrapping, so you don't have the right systems in place to scale, right? So you're stuck, you're capped at a certain level. So let me demonstrate that, right? Let me demonstrate that real quick on a graph. So I might just rub this part out for now and demonstrate this on a graph. So let's draw up two of these, right? So, on this side, we're going to have money, how much money you make. And then on this side, we're going to have time. How much time you use to acquire that money. So, let's do that. Use red for this. Basically, what happens when you are a glorified freelancer or you create that self-employed job for yourself, like I was saying, is you spend how much money you make is directly correlated with how much time you spend, right? So your graph looks something like this. The more money you want to make, the more time you have to put in, right? And because we only have 24 hours in a day, there's actually a cap on how much time, right? So you can't go past this line here, right? That's as far as you can go. There's a certain point you reach, right? Let's say it's here, and this is 24 hours. You can't go past that because your time doesn't allow for that, right? And that means that the amount of money that you make is capped here. Like you can't ever get higher than this point here in terms of money, right? And that's basically where you get stuck, right? And a lot of people get stuck here. A lot of people get stuck in this loop, especially in the agency space, right? You're trying to do everything yourself. You're trying to bootstrap so that you can save money, right? Instead of chasing money, you're trying to save money, and that actually makes you lose opportunities, lose the potential to scale, lose lots of money, right? And it caps you at a certain level, right? Because you can only handle 2 or 3 clients. Because when you get to this point, all of your time's being used, so you can't put in more time, and the only way you make more money is by putting in more time. So you're stuck, right? You're literally stuck here, unless you start to automate and delegate, like a successful business owner does, right? So let's talk more about the successful business owner, and I'm sure you guys know exactly where this is going, right? It's the complete opposite. So when you reach a point at the start, yes, you have to put time in to make money to get your system started, and then eventually you start spending less and less and less time to acquire more and more and more money because you've systemized your process, you've automated and delegated, and this is exactly what scaling looks like. This is exactly what scaling looks like because you're not capped, right? And you actually save your time at a certain level. So now you have half your time, right? This whole area here of your time free to do what you want. Whether that's working on improving these systems to do this, whether that's, focusing on scaling things, focusing on finding new team members and new people to help you grow this thing. Like that's what you have time for now because, again, your time isn't directly correlated with how much money you make. Because you've systemized the process and you've automated and delegated 90% of your operations. So the business growth is not reliant on you, right? Because in both of these equations, the one thing that is the bottleneck is you. You are the bottleneck in both of these cases, right? For here, you're the bottleneck because, again, you need to build these systems. You need to build the right team. You need to build the right systems in order to scale, right? So you are the bottleneck, right? And in this case, you're also the bottleneck because, well, obviously, your time is directly correlated with how much money you make in your business. So that is pretty much like, I hope that really sums things up. And again, I'm not hating on freelancers. I love freelancers, absolutely amazing people. I'm just saying, like, if your goal is to build a successful business and really scale and create true freedom, both financially and monetary, and, not trading your time for money like you do in a job, because this is basically a self-employed job, right? Yes, you can enjoy it. Yes, people love to do freelancing, and that's totally fine. But most of us, our goal isn't to create a self-employed job for ourselves, right? For most of us, the goal is to create true money and time freedom, and that's exactly what this allows you to do, right? So I hope that kind of makes sense. I'll probably cut this video here. Like I think I dropped enough value on this, like to really get you in the right mindset moving forward, because I really want you guys to think about this and think about which kind of model you want to do, right? Because this is directly correlated to with your agency. And the one question you should be asking yourself, right, is like, first determining which way you're going to go. Like, do you want to become a freelancer? Yes or no? And then asking yourself, if it's no, okay, what do I need to do instead? How do I need to think about things, right? Because there's a certain mindset that comes with being a successful business owner. And that's usually asking questions like, how can I remove myself as much as possible? Right? That's the question you need to consistently ask yourself, is like, how can I remove myself from this process as much as possible? Because the more you are in the process, back to our graph, right? The more, the lower your point of stuck is, right? The point where you get stuck. Like, the lower that point is, the more the process relies on you. So you need to remove yourself as the bottleneck as soon as you can for as many different things as you can, right? So for agencies, right, you've got the 5 pillars. I'm going to write these up because I think this will really help you, is to understand how you need to really think about your business, right? Especially your agency. So you've got prospecting, you've got sales, and of course there's different things that come under these, right? But this is basically the basic foundations. Because again, this comes back to like more leverage, right? More leverage with your systems. Because the more leverage you can have, the faster you can scale. So these are the 5 pillars of your agency. And I want you to be consistently asking yourself this question for each one of these things, right? So prospecting, how can I remove myself from the prospecting process as much as possible, right? What does that look like? Does it look like automation or delegation? Because that's really the 2 options that you have, right? You can either automate a process or you can delegate a process to someone else. So really asking yourself that question of like, how can I remove myself from each of these phases as much as possible? And before you remove yourself, you need to think about, okay, how does this work systemized to be effective, right? Because again, if you're trying to remove yourself before you understand the system and the process from start to finish, you're really going to have a hard time scaling because you don't understand that, right? And that's when, you know, coaches and programs really come in handy, because you can get that system laid out and start removing yourself quicker, which means you can scale faster, right? But when you're trying to learn everything yourself in these sections, again, going back to here, you're trying to save money. I get it, right? You're trying to save money. You don't want to invest in coaches and programs and all this stuff, right? You're scared to do that. So basically what happens is you try and learn all these things yourself, and eventually you just get stuck in the glorified freelancer mindset with these 5 sections, right? Because you're trying to do your prospecting yourself to save money, or you don't have the money to delegate, right? And you're trying to do your sales, you're trying to do fulfillment, trying to do everything yourself, right? Because you don't have a proven system that works to start to remove yourself from, right? Because as soon as you have that proven system, automating and delegating is the easy part, right? Getting that system is the hard part. Getting the system that works, the process that works, right, for each of these sections. And as soon as you have the process that works for each of these sections, it's game over from there. You can scale like crazy because you have more leverage, right? Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this shared some valuable insights for you guys, really. And yeah, I hope you guys found this valuable. So like always with these live streams here, I do these every single Wednesday. absolute value bombs. If you're an agency owner, Facebook ads, SEO, whatever service you do, if you're an agency owner and you're in this group, I highly recommend you jump on Wednesdays for these live streams, because again, they are super valuable, and I highly recommend you do that. So if you like these videos, again, I'm not charging you anything to be in this group. This is a totally free group, just giving away value bombs, just absolute awesome stuff that a lot of people, a lot of gurus and fake people just don't share, right? And they sell it as a course or sell it as information. I just want to give that to you for free. So if you do enjoy this content, please just do me one favor, just drop a comment in the comment sections below saying thank you, or I enjoyed this, or tell me what your major takeaway was from this video, so that we can continue to learn from each other. I can continue to improve these videos for you guys, and we can kind of just scale this thing from there, right? And again, the whole like purpose of this group, like I said, is to build that community, to build that absolute value bomb thing where people will just take so much value away from these videos and they really get actual genuine help. That's really my aim with this. So if you guys could really just do me that favor, just drop a comment below saying thank you, Tom, or hey, I enjoyed this content, or hey, my big takeaway from this content was this. That would really mean a lot to me. Again, I do this for free so that I can help you guys out, right? I'm genuine like that. I really just want you guys to win, because that helps me grow this group. That helps me grow my coaching program I have to help agency owners, right? It does all of that. But again, this is totally free content. I'm not asking you for a cent. I just ask that you say thank you in the comment section. And other than that, guys, I'll pretty much see you later. See you next Wednesday. Peace.